Hi everybody and welcome to Leading Edge Detailing. As you can see above me, we have a R32 GTR and we're going to be using the dry ice blasting machine to detail the underbody. What makes this R32 GTR special is it is actually an N1 R32 GTR, which is extremely rare, and as you will see from the photos that we will plug into this video and some of the work we do on it, for a car that is, I would say, 90s, early 90s, so it's quite old, is in immaculate condition. The owner of this car is quite special too, because he has the full collection of N1 GTRs, which we will also be doing. So this is the R32 N1 GTR. We will be doing the R33 later on in the week, and then the R34. And we will be recording them all for your viewing pleasure. If some of you have tuned into our earlier video to address the temperature changes and how they might affect rubber bushes, you would have seen that a few customers and a few people were concerned for this customer's car and informed him that, hey, just be careful with dry ice blasting, it might damage the rubber bushes due to the temperature of the dry ice. And I'm not going to dive in too much into detail about that because we have already addressed it in a video that I'm going to link for you now. But now that we have scientifically addressed that concern, we are ready to begin. So I'm going to shoot a few snaps of the car before, and we're going to shoot a few snaps of the process that we're carrying out to detail it, and then we're going to do some finish shots for you. If you have any questions or concerns, or if you have any feedback, if there are any things you want us to experiment with and show you, please send those comments through. You could email me directly at ayman@leadingdetailing.com.au, put a comment on the YouTube video, or even just visit our website leadingdetailing.com.au. So enjoy this video, and hopefully we will blow you away with how good this machine is and how it reverses so many years of age basically and corrosion on so many alloy parts and cleans them up really nicely. Alright, so about 10 hours of dry ice blasting later, and this beautiful R32 GTR N1 is done. And let me run you through what we did. So all the oxidization that was on these alloys that I'm finding to be consistent across all GTRs has been removed, and the metals are looking a lot better. We have the underbody is considerably cleaner. As you could see, the tunnel, the exhaust. This car is very clean, it had no leaks, so I can't really say we removed a lot of oil and grease. The biggest difference is these control arms. So I don't know if you remember, but I'll probably put a screenshot of these. They were actually black. I didn't know if they were steel or alloy, but they are alloy. These are of course steel. And they came out nice and shiny, so they look very, very good compared to what they used to look like before. Obviously everything is a lot cleaner now. I didn't want to dry ice blast the calipers because the paint is cracking their original paint, and I'll just simply lift it, but everything else was delicately and very carefully cleaned. So have a look at all of this, came out beautiful. Same with the rear. A lot of the control arms were actually steel or painted, so we couldn't do too much other than just give them a clean. But this biggest difference actually, which you would have seen in this video, is this. I initially thought it was rust, but it's plastic. It was just really dirty, and it came out beautiful. Again, the control arms came out really nice. They were black before. And this car is done. ready to be picked up and taken by its owner. All we have to do left is wash it up and clean up these wheels, which might even want to keep for myself. So thank you for tuning in with Leading Edge Detailing, and if you have any questions about anything we offer, be it our detailing services or dry ice blasting, mobile paint correction, paint protection, just send an email or comment on this video and I'll be more than happy to help you out. Thank you. Okay, so we are now up to the second GTR for Terry, which is his R33 N1. We just finished the R32 and got some fantastic results. This one, however, I think will show a much better visual before and after, because not only is it very clean and straight and actually really nice underneath, but there are a lot of parts that are a little bit dirty, not corroded or damaged, but just dirty. So it's going to show the dry ice blasting in an even better way. So we're going to get stuck into this one, hopefully about 8 to 10 hours worth of work, approximately 100 kilos of dry ice, and we should be able to show you something fantastic. So again, thank you, Terry, for the opportunity to work on your beautiful cars, and we will get straight into this one and start taking some before and after photos and progress videos for you.
Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down.
Everybody, and welcome to Leading Edge Detailing. So we are finally finished with this beautiful R33 GTR N1 that belongs to Terry. Most of the GTR owners know Terry. And I thought I'd run you through what we did to this one, also the R32, and any second now the R34 N1 is going to come as well. So we obviously had the car up on the hoist and we dry ice cleaned the underbody, suspension components, the wheel arch liners and everything. And also, which I will obviously include in the other videos, the wheels, which are very rare and came out really nice. So I thought I'll show a quick walk around of the car and how it looks now. Sorry I'm blocking it. It's we're a little bit limited with space and there's work happening everywhere. And as you can hear, there's traffic coming along. With the dry ice blasting, people ask, what is it for? What's the point? Well, the main thing is, oh, that might be him. Nope, false alarm. If you have a car of value or increasing in value, then the underbody is the only thing that people can't really do at home, and you can try to do it at home or at your mechanic using degreasers and what's so not, but these things can damage the car. So if you use a degreaser or acid or even steam or any water, you could get water into electrical components, you could get steam is water at the end of the day as well. Chemicals can stain, etch, dissolve things that shouldn't be touched, where dry ice blasting is completely harmless, and it's an inert gas at the end of the day. So once it hits the body and whatever else you're cleaning, it immediately goes to carbon dioxide and it disappears, so it doesn't damage anything. So I'll leave you with a few shots of this beautiful car. I will step out of the way and we will wait to do the R34 GTR, and then we will compile all the videos together and hopefully give you guys something to look at that looks really nice. Thank you for tuning in. Alright, last but not least, the big daddy, the R34 GTR V-Spec 2 N1. From what I'm told, this thing is the second rarest after the Z-Tune and the second most expensive, which is a huge, I guess, privilege for me to be working on it and to be trusted with it in my shop. As you would have seen by now, we did the 32 N1, the 33 N1, and this is the last. So once we're done with it, Terry can take them all home and enjoy them. What we're going to do is no different to any of the other ones, except this had a rear diffuser and a front under tray, which we removed so we could clean under them. I will be taking some detailed photos and videos underneath this car and putting it together with the rest of them, and hopefully we can make it come out even better than it was when it was sold at auction in Japan. We hope to get some really good before and afters for you, and show you why dry ice blasting at leading edge is the way to go for a car that's appreciating in value. So stay tuned, do comment, and any suggestions, please feel free to leave them. This video is going to be a little bit of a lengthy one, given that it's 3 cars combined into one post. But I'm sure it's going to be entertaining and informative, especially for those who own GTRs. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing orange overalls, it's not because I just broke out of prison, but the Coljet people came in today and said to me, hey, instead of ruining your clothes, why don't you wear something like this? So thank you to Coljet, and let's get cracking. Okay, so now we're finished with the third GTR N1, the R34, the most beautiful in my opinion. You know, I'm just drooling over it. I thought we'll do something different. So next to me I have Terry, the owner of the beautiful cars, all three of them actually. And so rather than just talking about the dry ice blasting as a service, I thought I'll ask Terry about these GTRs because not a lot of people know what a GTR N1 is and just how rare they are. They're quite special. Terry, I think more so for the friendship drove them over to me because he lives quite far. I think he wouldn't have driven it this far in such a busy area if it wasn't for that. So I really appreciate it, Terry. But if you don't mind, Terry, can you please explain to all of us, even myself, how long you've had these three cars for, how long it took you to find them, and why the GTR N1s? What's so special about the N1 GTR?
The fascinating thing is that I was never seeking them out. They fell into my lap through some kind people. And two of the three N1s were brought in by Iron Chef, Christian. He looked after me. With regard to the 34, I've had that the longest, since 2011.
Wow.
And of the V-Spec and V-Spec 2 N1s of the R34 GTR, they made 56. Mine's a V-Spec 1. There's no power difference between the two, but they do come with stock N1 internals and N1 turbos, N1 water pump, which is very strong. The oil pump, there've been improvements over the years over the oil pump.
So the N1, Terry, that's basically the racing. That's as good as it gets for the GTR.
It was, contrary to stereotypes about Nürburgring, it's got nothing to do with that. It's really got to do with N1 racing.
Yes.
At the time. So the R34 was a carryover from the 33 and the 33 from the 32. 32 N1 was a homologation model in one set of books. The Nismo version of the R32 was also named as a homologation model for the Group A racing, but the R32s had less paint. So that was a concern for a lot of people that would be bringing it to leading edge and getting the carbon dioxide, the dry ice treatment underneath because the paint's thinner.
And it's funny you mentioned that because a lot of people inquire, and I think this service is going to be a little bit of a challenge for people because anybody who has an underbody that's been in an accident or a repair or worried about rust, what we do will show that. And the fact that you brought all three over, I think took a lot of courage from you because obviously we had them up on the hoist. If there's any repair, we could have seen that quite easily. If there was any paint over the underbody, we could have quite easily seen that because the dry ice would have removed anything that's not factory.
Well, so long as the person's confident about the integrity of their car, that they didn't buy it without history, if they didn't buy it not knowing that there was rust or body rust or panel damage, yes, it would be a challenge for them. For me, it wasn't really much of a challenge because I'm already a chemist.
Yes.
I'm already aware that CO2, or carbon dioxide, is not going to flagrantly react with anything, even rubber, underneath the car. So I was confident about the outcome. I have concern for you insofar as if you come across cars that do have body rust, you'll be obliged to let them know that it's there. It's really comforting to know that you do have good integrity cars to work with from the outset. Probably too that they haven't done that many Ks. The 33 GTR N1, I didn't fill you in on that. They made 87 of them.
87.
Series 1, Series 2, Series 3 as a aggregate, they made 87 of those in an N1.
Wow.
Of the 32 GTRs, they made 228 of them. Whether they be a non-V-Spec, a V-Spec, a V-Spec 2, in the R32 GTR N1s, they made 228 of them. The R34 GTR I got next in 2014. That fell into my lap because I was told about it. I had an Evo 18R at the time. And I said, will I swap, will I not swap? Even this one here, I had a V-Spec 2 R34 GTR and thought, will I swap, will I not swap? Except that on this car, in the Wheels magazine, I did state and truthfully state that I only had a day and a half to decide on whether I should go for the N1 or not.
Yes.
Not really realising what it was.
Yes.
So I had to madly look up on the computer what an N1 was.
Well, 9 years ago, the GTRs were always very sought after, but they were not to the level they are now.
No.
And I think there wouldn't be too many people worldwide that have the set, the 32, 33, and the 34 of the N1.
No.
But just so for our viewers and myself, obviously what something is worth is based on two things: what the person who has them is willing to sell them for, and what the market is willing to pay. Because once you reach a certain point where there is none of them being made or none of them available, it becomes a case of supply and demand. In your view, what is your set worth? Just so our viewers worldwide can actually understand what we were trusted with and just how special these are.
I guess attached to your question would be an equivalent question, and that is a question that I was asked 2 years ago, what I felt that they should go for. And I've stuck to that price. And gradually the values of the GTRs have caught up to what I said 2 years ago, which was $900,000 US.
Wow.
So in essence, when you see a M-Spec NER of one of these going for over $500,000 now,
wow.
then you can just do the maths and think, well, yeah, 900,000 US for the three as a set really isn't out of the ballpark.
It would be very, very hard for somebody to source three cars.
Yeah.
You might be able to source one, but it will be a very long time and a lot of effort to source all three in one go.
Yeah.
So that definitely has to go somewhere, which is amazing. You know, you mentioned that they're obviously pretty rare. In Australia itself, we're a bunch of GTR fanatics. But even in Australia, they're rare.
To actually have so many in Australia, because we seem to realise what the GTR meant.
Yes.
Funnily enough, in America, you get more of a reaction with the 33 GTR and 34 GTR, whereas here in Australia, the 32 seems to be still king.
The Godzilla,
34 GTRs, well, there's a lot of people of my race that seem to be after these. A few of them are going to China.
Yes.
In anticipation of them knowing that US is looking at them. But there's also a collection, I believe, from a Florida person who has some of these stashed away.
Wow.
Okay.
And for our American viewers who are probably saying, God, I wish this was a blue, Bayside blue like Paul Walker's one. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the N1s were always only white, weren't they?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
That's the only colour that came in. Was QM1 white with the 34 and 33, and a 326 white in the 32.
There you go. So that is why all three of them are white, in case you were wondering. Although I think, as I said, it's nice to have them all the same colour rather than separate colours. And then I guess last but not least, Terry, is you obviously had your cars detailed and protected some time ago, so you care for your cars. It was done by a friend of mine, Eugene, who done a fantastic job.
Sure did.
To you, what was the value of the dry ice blasting? What did you want to see the outcome of, I guess? What drove you to make this book?
It's been a learning experience for me. I didn't really know that much about the kinetic energy of what these very small particles would do once it came out of the nozzle.
Yes.
Sure, people think about the pressure of what it might do after it comes out the nozzle, but it's also the reaction between each particular particle against whatever denatured film there might be on the platform that you're working on, and the fact that the kinetic energy of the way that it comes out of the nozzle, and then it in itself as a little molecule will actually push aside or displace that imperfection. Yeah. It's not like how with clay barring you're actually trying to remove
Scrape
it
off.
physically. There's actually a chemical reaction between the carbon dioxide. I was more concerned about you with the carbon dioxide going in the air and the greenies complaining about it. But I was never concerned about that being a so-called greenhouse gas because we just need to plant more trees. We just need to plant more grasses.
That's right.
And that'll use up the available carbon dioxide and convert it to oxygen.
Well, the people who are viewing my channel would now realize that at the beginning I was wearing just a t-shirt, working with the dry ice, and then I started wearing my jumper and a hoodie, and now I'm in a full hazmat suit. And it was a learning experience for me. It should have probably been a little bit of common sense that when the dirt or oil or sand or whatever it is falls off the car, guess where it goes? It goes on me. Yes. So I'm just trying to keep myself a little bit cleaner for longer until I get home and have a shower. But it's actually a very rewarding process and a very comfortable process.
Thank you to you, Eamon, for really looking after the cars and making sure.
Thank you for trusting me, Terry. So to anybody, any of our viewers who have any questions or requests, please send them through. Terry himself is fairly well known in the GTR community. He's just an encyclopedia of knowledge about GTRs.
I've known you for a little while, and I also understood that you would constantly supply me with any feedback.
Absolutely.
Even during the job, if it was required.
Absolutely.
So I enjoy the fact that there's constant communication.
Thank you. Thank you, Terry.
Good.
And as requested, I did put together certificates for you with the odometer readings of the cars, explaining what was done, the kilometers of the cars, how much ice was used, and the machine that was used. So that way, the process that we carried out for these cars can be carried along with them wherever they go in the future.
Certificates will be really good for any GTR owner or any STI or Evo owner should they go to a show and shine.
Yes.
Because when they're being judged, who actually looks underneath the car? Except for the fact that if you've got a certificate there, it draws the judge's attention to the fact that they might venture and stick their head underneath do an upskirt. Okay,
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Terry. I know we didn't plan this interview, so I appreciate you taking your time, and I know you have quite a big trip home.
Okay.
So thank you for the booking, Terry, and I look forward to hearing your feedback when you finally see it underneath. Thank you so much.
I look forward to a tech night here.
Thank you.
Okay.